you, Kira and Beckett. Now I'd like to welcome Eamon and Francesca from Side B to share their thoughts.
Welcome all parents, students, teachers, and staff to the Andrews Middle School 2018-2019 8th grade moving on ceremony. I'm Eamon Costello.
And I'm Francesca Veruso.
Today we stand before you as citizens and graduates of the Andrews Middle School. During our 3 years at the Andrews, we grew not only physically, but mentally as well. We all come from different backgrounds and ethnicities, different places, different beliefs. We are all individuals. But here, together, we are a family.
Middle school wasn't just a place to learn about the parts of speech, the Civil War, the Pythagorean theorem, or the periodic table. It was a place to learn about ourselves, who we are as humans, as citizens of society. Our teachers and counselors gave us all their support, not only academically, but to help us become amazing people. We are proud of all we learned and who we became. And it was all due to our memorable experiences and lessons at the Andrews Middle School over the past 3 years.
So many lifelong memories were made here at the Andrews. Our teachers and classmates provided us with remarkable moments as we traveled through our years in middle school. I remember the first time I walked into the Andrews Middle School at the open house. My biggest fear, using a combination lock. Thankfully, my stress and worries about the lock faded quickly, especially after I met my 6th grade teachers. They were also welcoming, and it was clear they cared about us a lot. For instance, 6A's English teacher, Mr. DeMeo, would have all the classes stretch out to relax before every test. This was a comical moment to us because of how enthusiastic he was about having us stretch our muscles. Back then as a 6th grader, what we didn't realize was that Mr. DeMeo was essentially stretching our minds to calm our nerves and help us do well on his exams.
In 7th grade, our social studies teacher on 7A, Mr. Zizzo, engaged with us in Global Scholars, in which we could connect with students from different countries and we could learn about them and vice versa. Our favorite aspect of Global Scholars was when we Skyped with students from around the world. One of the most memorable Skype sessions was during the winter when we Skyped with students from Madrid, Spain. The students from Madrid asked what snow looks like, and we ran over to the window to show them the view of the white, fluffy blankets covering the back field of our school. All of a sudden, we heard the students' laughter and ooh and ah from the other side of the world. Our class burst into laughter at their amazement. We've been able to see snow every single winter, unlike Madrid students who never had the opportunity to witness it. It made me realize how easily we can take small things as small as snow for granted. One memory I will never forget from 8th grade is when our science teacher on 8B, Mr. Toronto. You see, Mr. Toronto has a picture of his cat named Mittens on his whiteboard wall. Mittens holds a quill in his hand, and we were told that he studies the content for our tests. Mr. Toronto would supposedly give Mittens the test on that topic while we were studying, and afterward he would tell us what Mittens had got. Sometimes Mittens' grades were about average, but on occasion, Mittens would beat almost everyone in the class with an A+ grade. On one test, our whole class had done poorly, while Mittens had gotten 100% on the test. From that point on, we all disliked Mittens because of how intelligent he was compared to us. Although we've experienced many funny moments in all of our classes, a more serious moment occurred last year when we were all in 7th grade. We held a moment of silence for the victims of the Parkland school shooting. 17 students' lives were taken by a person's goal who was to take innocent lives. This moment made us realize that there are dangers in our world, but that together we must remain strong and united. We always look for the good in our world. And as TV personality Mr. Rogers would say, when I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. This quote is very meaningful and powerful to me because I think this should be our approach to life as we leave middle school and embark on the journey to high school.
Over the past 3 years, we've learned valuable lessons that we know we will carry on with us to high school and ones that we will carry on with us the rest of our lives. The first lesson is that your achievements are directly related to how hard you work. If you put in the time and effort to study for tests and truly understand the material you're learning, it's more likely that you'll get good grades and be able to enjoy school a lot more. The second important lesson we have learned is not to give up. People sometimes say they're bad at a certain subject, but that's before they have really invested themselves in it. Anyone can excel in a class with time and effort. One test score does not define how smart you are or how good you are at that subject. Getting one poor score does not matter, but how you are able to recover from that grade and persist in school does. A phrase I repeat to myself at times of adversity is, if it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset by it. This means that you shouldn't stress too much about things that won't matter in a few years. Overcoming adversity is a critical life skill that we have all been exposed to at the Andrews. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. All that matters is how many times you get back up. The final lesson we learned throughout our years at the Andrews is that you can and should always reach out for help. Our class has been so fortunate to have such amazing counselors at our school, Ms. Santos and Mr. Lynch, who are always there to help us with everything from registering for our high school classes to advising us in social situations. Teachers are also a crucial part in helping students with matters inside and outside the classroom. Our teachers have created safe classroom learning environments, and this led us to be able to focus and be able to enjoy their classes. The safe environment that surrounds the Andrews makes it such a better place to be. It has allowed the Andrews to be fertile soil that has enabled our natural curiosity to take root. We need to bring this lesson with us to Medford High School, the Medford Vocational School, Arlington Catholic, Malden Catholic, Matignon High School, and all the high schools we will be attending.
On my first day of school in 6th grade, I was intimidated by everything and everyone. I didn't have an older sibling or friend that knew the school to guide me. I simply learned how to venture through my first year on my own. But on the way, I met several caring teachers and friends who gave me advice on how to deal with different situations that may result from doing specific tasks in middle school. Now that I am graduating and moving on to high school, I feel it is important to tell the 6th graders now, and for those coming into 6th grade, some advice to help them make it through their first year. One very important piece of advice would be to use your time wisely. In middle school, the teachers and principals are trying to prepare you for high school and for your future and for any career you may yearn to pursue. They do this by helping us think for ourselves, by helping us see the bigger picture, by helping us learn right from wrong, by helping us learn that mistakes are okay, and that it's actually a crucial process, and by giving us much more complex homework than what you had seen in elementary school. They do this because they expect and believe more in us. They taught us that hard work and perseverance are 2 qualities we need as an adult to succeed in life.
With memories from dynamic classes and lessons, devoted classmates, and influential teachers, we will all remember our Andrews experience for the rest of our lives. Having a good starting base to do well in high school is extremely important, and this school has provided this to us. On behalf of all our classmates, we'd like to thank our teachers, friends, and family for supporting us through the good and bad times. We wouldn't be the successful, intelligent, kind, thoughtful high schoolers to be without you, and we truly appreciate you. Thank you, Andrews Middle School. We will always remember our Andrews School family.